Hello there and welcome back to Bolts for Bucks. My name's Stephen Bresnaugh and today I have something super exciting to show you. That's one of the most iconic bolt action rifles ever produced, if not the most iconic. It's certainly here in the United States is very popular, and that's the Winchester Model 70. Now this one happens to be the Winchester Model 70 Super Grade. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the basic features, then we're going to take it apart, dive into what I think the quality is on each individual part, and also talk about the fit and feel of the rifle itself. So starting at the rear of the rifle, we have a nice Pachmayr decelerator recoil pad. And I gotta say it's firm, but it's got a nice smushy area right in the middle, and it does a really good job at mitigating felt recoil. So excellent recoil pad on it. The stock on this one happens to be a beautiful walnut, and I believe I would say this isn't like a super high luster gloss finish. It's more along the lines of like a matte finish, but it's still shiny, still beautiful, but it's not a super bright, going to reflect the sunlight finish. Then coming forward here in the palm area, you have really nice checkered gripping cut into the wood, and it's got really nice sharp lines, has a great feel to it. It's not too soft or too rough. It's just the right amount of checkering there. And then moving forward to the forend, you have another area for added grip up here where it's checkered, and then you have this nice ebony forend cap. Now this one happens to be in 30-06 Springfield, so it features a 1 in 10 twist, and it has a 24-inch barrel. Now all the super grades have this black high gloss bluing job, so all along the receiver, also on the bolt, on the bottom metal as well, and in fact it says super grade right here, and so it's just a really pretty really nice looking rifle. The high gloss bluing just really pops and looks beautiful, especially with the forend. Now moving back to the operation of the bolt, if you don't know, the Model 70 is based on basically the Mauser 98. And so the Mauser 98, what I would say is the grandfather or the foundation for basically every modern bolt action rifle out there as far as how they work. Now, there has been people that have improved upon the Model 98, and that's where the Winchester Model 70 falls into. They've taken basically a Model 98 and they've sporterized it, and they've made it prettier, and they've made it basically more adaptable to scopes and things of that nature. And so you have here at the rear, you have a really nice wing safety. It's a 3-position safety. So all the way to the rear locks the bolt and the trigger. And by the way, before starting this, I've made sure that it's empty and safe. One forward, and we'll go ahead and just double check right here. One forward allows you to operate the bolt, but you can't fire the trigger. All the way forward, you can operate the bolt and fire the trigger. One thing I did note about this wing safety is it is quite difficult to pull it back and put it on safe when it's cocked. I mean, it's easy going forward, but very difficult going back. So I would imagine that overuse, that would loosen up and be a little bit better. But one thing to note is it's all metal, all extremely high quality steel metal, and it's very solid, not chintzy plastic, cheap safety that you would see on most bolt actions today. So very well built. Then let's go ahead and let's run the action and just see how it feels. Now, like I said, it's a controlled round feed action. We'll get more into that in just a second. But wow, that is smooth. Smooth, but not sloppy. So it doesn't have the play and slop that a Tikka has into it, but man, it's almost as smooth as a Tikka in the feel. So it just feels expensive, feels like the machining tolerances are really tight, and it was well thought out and well built. Now, let's go ahead and remove the bolt from the receiver. And to do that, you just press down this little tab on the left side here. Let me see if I can do this. And you pull the bolt straight out and back. Now let's take a more detailed look at this bolt. So this bolt, like I said, it features this full-length claw extractor. And then it has a nice bolt face right here. Very nice machining. You don't see any nasty machining marks or whatnot. A little bit more grease on there than I would like. There we go. And it just has really nice lines. You don't see any chewing, any like gouges, zipper-like lines from machining. Just a beautiful, beautiful machining job done on this bolt. And of course it has that beautiful, lustrous, jeweled finish on the bolt that just gives it an extra nice shine. Now, like I said, the Winchester Model 70 is based off of, well, its foundation is based off of the Mauser 98. And you cannot go wrong with reliability and durability of this. The way it's built is just top notch. Also, you'll notice on this one-piece bolt handle that is one-piece machined part of this bolt, and this is all steel by the way, is also knurled, and it's quite large, so it's really easy to grab and manipulate the bolt. And the bolt does have a 90-degree throw, but there's still plenty of clearance for a scope. Then coming forward into the receiver here, the receiver is all one-piece milled steel, which is just excellent craftsmanship and design. Of course, you have drilled and tapped holes up on top for scope mount. Coming down to the bottom metal, you just push this little button here, it opens up the floor plate. And by the way, this is all high grade. It looks like steel, it might be aluminum. And then this spring is steel, the whole floor plate is steel, the trigger guard steel. So the floor plate, excuse me, the bottom metal is all actual real metal, high quality metal. It's got that nice finish to it, and every component is metal. There's no plastic on this rifle. Go ahead and close that. Now, you also have this really high grade, nice metal cap right here. So just a beautiful rifle, and then built-in nice sling attachments here at the rear and at the front, and they just have a beautiful classic look to them. So now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and see how this trigger feels. It features the Winchester MOA trigger system, the same one that comes in their XPR rifles, and let's just see how it feels. Wow. Whoa, that's a nice trigger. For a factory trigger, that's beautiful. Absolutely no creep. I mean none. There's no creep. I cannot find creep in this trigger. No take up, no creep. Almost no over travel. If there is, it's so minute you can almost not notice it or perceive it. Just a beautiful crisp, clean trigger break. Just beautiful trigger. Wow, they did a good job on there. I like the blade. It's pretty wide and fat, which is nice for hunting. And it just breaks so beautiful. Now, I already have gone ahead and adjusted this trigger, and before I adjusted it, it was actually at 3.5 pounds, but after adjusting it, I got it down to, I think, 2 3/4 pounds. Looks like just right 3 on that break right there. But just a beautiful trigger. I would say the only downside to it would be that you can't go below that 2 3/4 or 3 pound mark without modifying the trigger or putting an aftermarket trigger in it. Whereas with a Tikka, I believe you can go down to 2.5 pounds. But I would say the feel of it is good or better than a Tikka trigger. It's just not as adjustable as low, but very nice trigger nonetheless. So now that we've gone over all of that, let's go ahead and take it apart and look at the inside of this rifle here. By the way, you only tighten these down 35 inch-pounds. Ooh, that one went kind of fine. On a stock like this, it is not pillar bedded, which I would have liked to seen pillar bedding, but it is glass bedded at the front and the rear of the receiver, and they've done quite a nice job, which I'll show you in just a second here. Let's go ahead and open that so that it doesn't make the whole thing spring up at me. Wow. That was tight, and that is really good. That shows that the inletting job here was done excellent. I mean, very close tolerances. Very beautiful inletting job. Well done. I mean, that was in there really snug, and that it is normally sloppy on most rifles. Okay, it doesn't want to come out, and that's because the glass bedding is done so well that it's in there really snug. So I'm going to have to just tap it on the table here to get this barreled action out, which is a good thing. It shows that this thing was put together extremely well, and whoever did the bedding job did it right. All right, so here we have the barreled action. Let's take a look at the stock first on the inside. All right, so fully free floated, of course, and wow, that is a beautiful job. You can see they didn't cheap out on this one. Just beautiful. Inletting, there's just beautiful. It's even stained inside, you know, not cheaply done. And you can see where they did a nice job with the bedding material. It's very professionally done. X-bolts where it's just like a dab and it's a joke of a bedding job. This is a lot better quality. It's got a nice bedding right here in the rear as well. So another thing to note is it has this post that goes through the side here to reinforce the stock as well. Coming forward to the receiver and the barrel, we'll go ahead and take this. This is all high quality metal, very well made. It doesn't come apart or flex on you like a Remington Model 700 does. This is very well made, very high quality there. Also looking at this bottom metal here, you can see that it's quite thick, very well made. Machining is excellent on this. Just very high quality. Higher quality than even a Howa 1500 bottom metal. Then you come here and we can take a look at this barreled action. So coming forward to the receiver, you can see that it has this beautiful finish, but the biggest thing that sticks out to me, no pun intended, is the recoil lug. It's one piece steel part of the receiver, so this is one big piece that they machine the steel with the recoil lug integral part, and that is much better. It's a better foundation for consistent accuracy, reliability, and durability than say a Remington Model 700 where the recoil lug is sandwiched between the barrel and the receiver. Also, it's just ginormous, so it would do a great job mitigating any shift. Then you have a front action screw hole right here in this nice flat milled receiver, and I like that it's flat as well because that gives you a really good foundation and a lot of surface area for this to sit and be firm in your stock. At the rear, of course, you have another action screw, and it just is beautiful quality. Then going to the trigger, it's got, of course, that nice MOA trigger. Now coming forward to the trigger, you have a beautiful trigger housing that's high quality, thick metal, and of course you have an adjustment screw at the top, and at the bottom, if it's upside down, you have an over travel adjustment screw. But beautiful trigger body and trigger there. It is held in with pins, and I would like to see that held in instead with screws, something that could just be unscrewed. Then on the side here you have your bolt release, which is very simplistic yet effective, and I like the design of it. Like I said, I would have liked to seen this trigger body held in with a screw though instead, much like a Tikka or a Howa 1500. The machining work though is absolutely excellent, and you can see that it has a nice blade ejector built into the receiver there. Now let's see here, coming forward, let's look at the bluing. So this is high luster, high gloss bluing. It does look like they skimped out a little bit on the bluing quality along the bottom edge of the receiver where it's not really going to be seen. It also looks like they skimped out on the bluing quality, that high luster bluing inside the receiver. Just something to note, but overall great fit and finish. One thing I also noticed is with the bedding job, they had a tiny bit of bedding get adhesed to the barrel right here. And that's really not a big deal, but it's just something to note that there is a little bit of material from the bedding that actually is adhered to the barrel. All right, so I've put the Winchester Model 70 back together, and we're just going to talk a little bit more about the basic specs on it and the fit and feel. So it feels really nice in the hand. It fits really nice. I really like the feel of the forend. It's slim, but not too slim. Feels great. Yeah, it just comes up to the eye nicely. Has this nice raised piece here on the stock here so that you can get that nice cheek welt right onto it. Action performs beautifully. very smooth. Love the trigger. And by the way, before I forget, this rifle weighs 8.4 pounds, so it's just a beautiful hunting weight. You know, heavy enough to mitigate felt recoil a little bit, to help you be steady in the hand, but also light enough that where you can carry it around in the field. Just a beautiful, iconic American classic. In fact, I would say that the Winchester Model 70 is probably overall the best bolt action rifle ever produced in the United States, and they have done a better job at consistently producing quality rifles, in my opinion, than even the Remington 700. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to hearing back from you.